guys, so this is the Fanttik Nex E1 mini electric screwdriver, and it comes in this pretty cool metal encasing that feels very solid, and you can kind of hear it bouncing in there. But we do have a pretty awesome little mechanical action. When you push on this, it pops out and you can take out the set here, which is plastic but still feels really nice and actually really good in the hand and quite portable. And that's what's great about the E1 series here. So on the case itself, we can see a little more information, the model number, support there. It does run on a 3.7 lithium-ion battery, which has a capacity of 350 milliamp hours, and it does charge with 5 volts, 0.14 amps. It is made in China and all the certifications there. So yeah. If we look at the box it came, it's actually quite nice. It's got a nice matte finish. It says unleash potential, challenge limits. But we do have some useful stuff here in the back with some of the bits that are included and specifications, which includes the torque control. So we do have 2 settings, 0.05 Newton meters and also 0.2 Newton meters. We've looked at the battery stats, coated S2 steel for the bits, 200 RPM rotation speed, and temperatures charging and discharging, and a bunch of mumbo jumbo here with UPC barcode. So yeah, so we do get a little manual. It's quite tiny and it's quite thick, and the reason for that is because it has multiple languages. So it shows us here what everything is, how to use the storage box, all the different parts of the driver, and how to use it. Also light indicators, the specifications, the different kind of bits that are included, some cautions of what to do and not to do, and warranty information, which is 12 months. Here we have a cable which we'll use to charge the screwdriver. So it's a USB port, and it's about 1.5 feet long, not that long, with a USB Type-C. So the driver itself lives together with the bits, and they're all very nicely organized. Again, very nice to hold it and quite comfortable to pull it out of the case. Very nicely designed. So we have little pictures here for all of the different bits. So we got longer ones on top and then shorter ones here with 12 total of all different kinds. And some of them are quite tiny. We got larger ones up here. So yeah, it should cover pretty much, the basics. But, if you don't have any other kind of tools, you might want to consider getting their more complete version where it includes a lot more tips. But yeah, the way the tips are held are magnetic, so they just pop right out. You just kind of touch them and they come out. So that's pretty cool. So there's no clicking or clipping, it's just kind of dropping it in and it holds itself. So pretty awesome if you ask me. Now if you probably hit it too hard, you can maybe bounce them out, but I don't think so because they are held in there really good. So as for the driver itself, it kind of clips in. So there's an arrow on top, so if you push down on it, clips out. And maybe we can see down in there, there's like a little flexible spring holder that does the action. So if we look a little closer, you can see it going up and down a bit. But yeah, so the driver itself is very nice, feels high quality. It's completely round, which, depends on your preference. I definitely like it that it's round, and it's very clean and well designed. So on the very top here, we have the charger for the USB with the LED light, and also the top ring here is where we're going to switch between locked, low, and high. So low is going to give us the smaller torque value. Lock is going to lock the bit in so you can turn it manually, and then high is going to be the higher torque, which is 0.2 Newton meters on high and 0.05 on low. So for very small items, you might want to use low, and for normal stuff, high. We do have some nice branding here. And then as we go down, we have the forward and reverse or clockwise, counterclockwise button. And they have arrows there and quite easy to push. And you guys can see when I do that, a light comes on. So I have it on locked right now, and this is why it doesn't do anything. It just turns the light on if I push it. So it's kind of like a little flashlight if you need it. It doesn't stay on in this position. You have to hold it, but still could be quite useful. At the very tip, you guys can see that's where the light glows, and there's 4 LEDs. Now they are pretty nice and decently bright for sure. But the only thing I wish is that they would be a little more whiter. They're on the bluer side, which is not a big deal, but I do wish they were whiter instead of bluer. And at the very tip, we can see this is where we're going to insert our bit. So let's go ahead and grab a random one here. So it looks like I got the T5H. And we're just going to drop it in there, and it's going to magnetize it down. So, and it sticks in there really good. It's not going to come out easily. Once it goes in all the way, it will really hold. So let's click to low, and we can push this button here, and that's gonna spin it clockwise. Hopefully you guys can see there. And then counterclockwise this way. And there's a audible sound. Not super loud, but it's definitely there. And we got 200 RPM, so not crazy fast, but definitely reasonably fast. So as you guys can see, even on low, I can't hold it. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I was able to stop it, and it kind of blinks and then just doesn't go anymore. So it is torque sensing, and yeah, even the 0.05 Newton meters is still quite a decent amount. So on high, I would definitely not be able to stop it, as it's very powerful. So yeah, even though it's small, it is quite powerful, and I love how it has the two settings from low to high. And also, if you put it on lock, you can just turn it manually yourself. Now, the only thing I noticed is that it does have a little bit of a play. So if I grab the tip here, I'm gonna grab a longer one, so maybe you guys can see a little better. But yeah, if I grab the tip, there's a little bit of play. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. So that's the only part that's a little bit maybe disappointing. But other than that, obviously it's quite usable even with that little bit of play there. So yeah, pretty awesome little driver, and I'm pretty excited to use it for taking things apart and doing all kinds of stuff with it. And you guys notice that it stays on, the lights, when you turn it off for about 10 seconds or so, looks like. Yep, about 10 seconds. So yeah, pretty cool. So on the case itself, there is some wording here that says to touch the tip in this area here to complete magnetizing. Yeah, actually I don't see anything in the manual that talks anything about that part at all. So yeah, I guess we'll see what it does. But and actually right here, maybe that's what you do to magnetize it. So not too sure. I guess we'll play around with it and see. Yeah, it does have this feature, which is kind of interesting. So for charging, all we got to do is plug in the cable, and it's gonna light up, and it's actually white, and the reason for that is because it's fully charged. Normally it glows red, and then when it's charged completely, it will glow white. And since it doesn't take much power, it should last quite a long time before you have to recharge it again. So yeah, pretty convenient, and I love how it uses USB-C, as that's pretty much available anywhere, at least for me here. Most of my things charge with that. Yeah, let's go ahead and try to use this. And I got a MacBook Air here, 13-inch, and we have a few screws here to take out the back panel, and we can see how easy and quick it is to pull all these little bolts out. Now, I've taken this off before, so it's not going to be our first time, and there is a mod that I did to this thing that I want to show you guys. So let's go ahead and see if we have the right bit here. So that looks like a star, and we do have a few stars here. So let's see which one fits. The P5 as the winner, so we'll put it in the screwdriver, and I'm going to push up to go in reverse. And I'm going to keep it on low, see how it does. There we go. So it broke it loose quite easy. And I don't know, these bolts look like are not magnetizing. So let's see if we can't provoke this thing by putting it in here for 5 seconds. And see if it magnetizes now, which it does. Look at that. Okay, so that's what it's for, I guess, guys, is to magnetize the tip so you can grab the little bolts. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and pull them all out. All right, so it looks like on low, sometimes it's not enough. I do it a couple times, it goes, but I think we should go ahead and go to high, and that would definitely be enough torque. Oh yeah, for sure. So also I noticed that if you have it on high or low, it still locks the tip where you can manually turn it so it doesn't slip. So you don't have to have it on lock unless you don't want to, push the buttons by accident and then you lock it. But yeah, you can still turn it by hand and unscrew the little bolts without even using the electric part of it. I guess that's all of our little bolts. So this cover should just pop right off. It's being a little stubborn, but it is coming up. All right, so we had a little glue action back there. All right, well, that makes sense. So one of the pads that I have in there was stuck to the back plate, and that's what I wanted to show you guys, is that I did a mod on this MacBook Air and put these thermal pads on top of the heat sinks where the heat transfers into the back plate, and that really helped with cooling it down and keeping it from throttling. So it looks like I got a little air bubble in here. There we go. Get that out of there. So yeah, they work great. Running some benchmark tests and whatnot else, it performs really good. So if you have a Air like I do, you definitely want to look into this mod here, and I do have a little quick video about that on my channel. And you guys can kind of see the shape that it goes, and then this piece here is right here that lays right down here for this cooler. So pretty cool. And obviously, you know, if we were going to tear things more down, we can use the screwdriver here also, obviously, and it would be a pretty great experience. But for today, we're just going to reverse here, put this lid back on and all of our bolts, and I'm going to go back to a low here because I don't want to over torque them as they are quite tiny. So I'm going to start it manually to make sure I got it good, and then we're going to use the electric part to tighten them. And it does stop and blink when it's torqued. Hopefully I show you here so you guys can see it. Just blinks when it's torqued down. So I don't know if I'd want to trust, you know, the torque completely on this thing. It does seem to be about the right amount, but I'll just run them down and then kind of torque them myself by feel. And again, I love how you don't have to switch anything. You just run it and then torque it. And that makes it where you can put the screws in really quick. So yeah, very nice set here from Fanttik. Everything is well built and a great kit to have around to take smaller items apart. And not to mention how awesome this metal case is that clips in, and it's nicely organized. And you know, you can put this up without worrying that everything will fly apart or get lost. So I'm going to be using this thing pretty much for any small projects I'm going to do. And if you guys are interested in the Fanttik Nex E1, it's definitely worth it. It is a little extra than some other brands, but it is built very well and high quality. And also they do have kits that have different accessories with it, with more bits and different kinds of bits and even some bundles. So yeah, I'll have some links in the description if you are interested. So check that out. If you enjoyed this video and it was useful, then hit that like button. And if you like videos like this, stay tuned for more. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.